Hello everybody, welcome back to Yenes Cake Tips. Thanks for joining me. I'm sure you have already noticed in my tutorial, for the sake of proper teaching, I do not rely too many of those store-bought templates and cutters. Having said that, I have nothing against them. I also use them for my day-to-day work. Obviously, using cutters make things much more easier and also get things done very quickly. So the problem is, you cannot have a cutter for every single thing unless you are really a cutter collector and have boxes of cutter laying on your shelves and have too much money to spend. In this tutorial, I like to show you a simple method how to make your own cutters with no cost. So they will not going to end up as good as the store-bought ones, but it will be good enough to start your work and then enhance it and improve your work towards the progress that, for example, when you're cutting your flower petals, you have still more chance to make the sides are much more finer, much more detailed, and much more sort of thinner with your ball tool. And at the same time, if you're doing some sort of buildings or something, and then you need to cut some windows, etc., so you cannot find those cutters in that size anyway, so you can rely on this method today, what I'm going to teach you. What you see on this table, this is what you need to start doing those cutters. I like to start from the simple material, that what I'm going to use, a tin, just a normal tin. So that this oil container, which is about 4 liter, it's got very straight side. The only thing is that just bending 4 corners so we can open up and make it flat. And then I'm going to use this material to make my cutters. So of course we have to go through some sort of like cutting progress. I'm going to show you very soon. And these oil containers, or maybe some other liquid containers, I'm not so sure what you can have in your place. All right. So we need to have a kind of towel to lay on the table, because I drain this off with all the oils over here by just putting down on the sort of washing area that long time let it drip out, but there will be still some oil inside, so we will deal with this later on. All right. I have a heavy duty scissor here, and this is very important. And then I will have a sort of can opener just to get rid of all those edges. And I have a protective gloves that I'm going to wear, of course. This is very important, otherwise you will definitely cut your hands with this because it's very sharp. And sharp object tip that I can make some lines using this big ruler. And I will have a little plier to do some bending and sort of like securing the edges. And also I have a sample flour here. It is a silk flour. You may also use fresh flour, of course. So I am not going to show you how to make these flowers with the sugar. So that's why I have another tutorial in yenesway.com. You can have that, of course, access if you are a member with that our site, yenesway.com, online cake art tutorials. So, but we're going to show you clearly how to make those cutters, to make your own flower cutters or any other cutters yourself. All right. Let's don't talk about this flower now. We leave it to the later on stage. So I like to start cutting these edges and then removing that sides, and then also cut this one from the joining part here, and then get our material done as a flat piece, so we can start already getting some stripes done. I like this kind of gloves because they are nice and soft, and then this doesn't really difficult my movements. So that's already good enough. All right. But make sure that you're wearing that, because this will be really sharp. All right. So this is an ordinary can opener. Normally we open cans going like this from the top down, and after that we're turning like this to make the top side open and leaving that thick edge already intact. So, but this time we're going to do other way around. Instead of going like this, we're going sideways. All right, like this. And after that, we're cutting this way. All right. So when I'm doing that, I'm actually cutting from the side. We will remove that edge, and we will have a nice and sort of like a clean sides. All right. You can see better from the side way. One side is done. That's it. Put it aside. Not bad. Okay. Then after that, we just do the next one. So this way, you have this joint over here, all right? And after that, I'm going to cut this joint away, just exactly from there. That's it. I have my material ready. All what we have to do now, just bending slowly and make sure that this is not really too much of this problem. Right? That's it. All right. Now, I like to remove this corner because it's very, very difficult to make it straight. This also will be very nicely. And this part is okay. So, now, a little bit more effort to make it as straight as possible. Okay. That's it. All what we do now, keep this on the towel, all right, and put it over here, like that, and then place your ruler on it, here, and then make one single line, okay? See, I'm using the colorful side so I can see exactly the lines, all right? And after that, what I like to do, I'm going to place it over here, to the edge, all right? I will put exactly, I use sometimes a little bit more than that, but at the moment I'm going to do it like 15 millimeters, okay? 15, 3, 4.5, and 6, and 7.5, and 9, 10.5, 12, 13.5, and 15, 16.5, 18, 19.5, 21, 22.5, and last one is 24. All right? Okay. Once I have those lines ready, and I'm going to place this over here. You can actually do exactly the same thing over here, but I can just rely on my eyes that make it straight as possible. So you may also just put lines over here and just connect that properly, so you have a completely straight parallel lines. All right. So next thing is, I'm just going to get one line here. Line here. Line here. So just a few more lines left. I can also see there's those writings, original writings, to give me a guidance to cut it straight. It's very, very, very good. And at the same time, it doesn't have to be every single line equally thickness. It could be, as long as this line is straight, you're already doing okay. All right. So that's another one here. And maybe we can do one more. Like that. That's it. So now is the cutting the stripes. Now we have to be very careful and holding that heavy duty scissor and then following this line. So make sure that this line is very straight. Otherwise, whatever you cut is not cut properly. All right. So, as you see that I'm holding it like this, giving a bit of like a bend, so I can have a bit of comfort to cut this properly. Okay. This tin is thin enough to bend the shapes very comfortably, and also thick enough to hold the shape whenever we finish the cutter. Right? So this is the second one. Let me cut one in front of you, then after that I'm going to cut myself the rest of it. See, this one is curled, but it's not curling that much because it's thicker. I'm also positioning that the sheet according to the light reflection, so I can see that line that I marked with the sharp object just now. That's it. I'm going to finish all the stripes and get back to you. just make it a little bit more clear. When you do that anyway, you will see that is any splinter or not. So that is good. Yeah, what I like to do, I'm going to cut actually 1, 2, 3 pieces like this. Okay. And then these are the stripes that I cut before. All right. So just get this one here, like this. One and two. Two is enough. Take the short one. So you may ask me now why I did sort of like a longer side, not this side. So because any kind of like flowers or something, it looks like a small cutter, but when you open up, it's just quite long pieces. So I like to get it as long as possible. That's why I cut in this way around. All right. So these are ready for using for cutters, and all those stuff now just bend it nicely. All right. And put it here. Okay. Just use some newspaper or anything like this. Okay. Put it here. It's really important that you take this precaution so you don't hurt anybody. Okay. Like that. Right. Put it in the back. So that goes in the bin, and we're going to now start producing our cutter for that particular flower. This is what I do. I take either a nice silk flower. Not every silk flower is nice, but I just choose the nice ones. And also, like, I can take any kind of fresh flower. Then dissect all the petals. Some of the flowers has the same petal repeatedly, is like overlaying each other. So for example, if I look at the frangipanis, one petal is enough. You can just have to make 5 of them. Or some of the flower like Phalaenopsis, for example, has got a set like this. This is also an orchid, also set. Different kind of petals comes together. So it depends of what you're choosing. You have to make that decision, either make a set or one single cutter. So after that, as you see that it's leaning over here, but it's not really understandable because it's moving around and also like very difficult to handle. So I take a piece of glass or kind of perspex like this, placing on it, so everything is stabilized in one place, and also the size become more obvious, more distinguished, that we can measure. All right. So I like to do this one just like this. You take, this is your preparations. Just keep it in the box. Every time you need it, just grab and use it, and then remove one of this one. Now, because already cutting business is finished, you can just actually remove your gloves, but you have to be still very, very careful. Basically, most important thing is you have to start cutter on the tip, not over here. So we're going to start from the tip, just like this. Make sure that nothing is on the table. Give a little bit more sort of like straightness. Just play with that. Make sure that it's like nice and flat. All right. Nothing in the way. All right. And after that, first thing, you make sure that you have a 90 degrees here. Bend a little bit like this. All right. So that is already beginning point. I'm going to turn like this. A little bit at a time. Just put it over here. A little bit like this. Okay. And like that. And that's the spot to turn. So I can already indicate just holding in the right spot and then turn. All right. So then bend it like this. Okay. So make sure that you holding in the right place. Secure that edge. Bend like that. And then hold that exactly the spot. Right. And then bring back here. And then make sure there's 90 degree, because that plier is got not 90 degrees exactly. So you have to, it is straight, but you have to bend a little bit to make it 90 degree. All right. After that, you bend it. And after that, you just do this. You're getting there already. So you can actually do this like that, straight, and then open up from here. Because I'm going to get another leaf here exactly the same. So this is just a logical decision. And after that, bend exactly from here again. All right. Okay. So then this one has to be like that. So that should be somewhere around here. Okay. All right, now we can just open up this one or just to shape it up nicely. All right. That's it. Now start over again. Open up a bit like this. That is here. That is here. And this one here. So this is all over the place, but once I join this part, it will be all standing nicely, right? Put it like that. Like that. And this one already here. Okay, now what we have to do is this. You hold this one in the right place, all right? And after that, you cut exactly same size first. Sorry, that was too much. I cut one first. So this is one, and the second one exactly same length, all right? And after that, one of them, you make it a little bit shorter, just as much shorter. So as you see over here, exactly the same, but this one a bit shorter. When you're holding together like this, all right, together like this, so you bend one of them like this and go over it. Right? So this is already holding. Okay, then you bend, hold together, and then bend also together. So you understand? This is just nice like that. And then actually that's already good enough. All right. You can also go one more time if you like, but it's already good enough. All right. So then you have to push this one down, so make it at least one side level. Other side doesn't matter because you may not cut exactly parallel piece. You will use the one side to cut the flowers. All right. So that is already done. That's pretty much what we needed. Okay. So that's one. And I'll show you now the next one towards the end. So as I explained that, you see this much left from this whole long piece for this one. It is actually this much, but when you're getting all those in and out, it becomes a quite long piece, all right? So this is now the second one, and I bend already here. Just push it down a little bit and make sure that you're holding in the right place, like that. So again, just make sure that it's nice and flat. Double check, perfect. And then cut slightly longer than the first one. Just slightly longer. Okay, after that, hold this together. And this part you bend on a single one. You bend like this, all right? Like that. And then push this one in, hold it together, and then squeeze it. Squeeze it, it's already holding, but it's not holding properly because it's going to come out, all right? You have to turn one more time. So after that, you turn one more time and close it up. So this part has to be like that. It doesn't really matter because you need only inside part to cut, all right? So after everything's secure in one piece, you can just play around a little bit and bring back again here and then make sure that it's like fitting to that shape, all right? So I have to do two more, one little one here and then one of this one. So I just did the same thing. I folded exactly, sort of folding in the equal sizes. So when I open up, all the petals will be the same. So I'm just going to do this one first without worry about the shape. I'll lock it first, the edge. So this one cut a little bit shorter. This one here. Make sure those guys doesn't go into your cakes, all right? Throw away if it's too small piece. This one you can keep it for another small cutter, all right? So then I cut one more, a little bit longer. This one here. So I think it's quite important to understand that one short, one longer. When you're folding here, hold together, all right? Just give it one fold first to just slide the short one into the long one, right? After that is folding together. Make sure it goes all the way in. And after that, you fold like that one more time. And then you lock it. So this one doesn't go anywhere. So it will stay intact, all right? So you can also just enhance that joint together again, exactly the right spot. All right, so this is nothing to do, it doesn't look like that, but because we secure the edge, we can already play with that, all right? Just like this. So this is like this. Okay. All right, very similar, pretty similar. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. I'm sure when you put the flower together, it will not really matter, you know, exactly what is it. All right, good. So that's it. So we have that already cutter set for this. See, that's here, that's there, and that's there, and that's there. That's my set, and all my cutters are here. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. So I can do now my sugar orchid exactly look like this. If I use some particular veining or something over here, and I'm folding like this, and I use some egg white to glue together, and of course that in the middle I have to put my sort of also flower wire inside. They will hold it nicely. All right. So that was my cake tip of the week. So there is no more excuse for you to say no to any flowers, because you can now produce your cutters for flowers that you cannot find the cutters for. All right. Now, I want you to promise me something. You will be careful when you're doing this yourself and take all the precautions what I said and what I show you today. So you don't have to cut your hands or someone else around you, because when you have this big piece of tin, when you cut it, it flips around a little bit, a little kids around or something, it may be quite dangerous. So please take care about that. Thank you so much for watching my channel today, and please like, share and subscribe to stay tuned with us. God bless you all. Until next tutorial, bye for now.